you'll help us, Lord, to have our minds on what's to be done tonight, Lord. Pray that you'll have your will and your way, Lord, in our meeting tonight, Lord. Pray that you'll give us strength, give us wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And praying all these things, I ask in Jesus' precious name. Amen.
Let's pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Y'all won't take much of your time, but it looks good in here. That's the last time I've been here. Like a new city hall. Y'all done well. Thank y'all for serving, and I've had the opportunity to serve on the board of directors at Southwest Human Resource and the Development District. And I've had the opportunity to help the Resource Agency at Southwest there in Henderson, and there's an office here. But what I found when I was county mayor, a lot of the small towns and mayors are not making those meetings. You can't make all the meetings because everybody works. But there's so many things that Southwest Human Resource Agency offers small communities. It's unbelievable. Even as a mayor on the board, I didn't realize all that they do. There's $28 million a year business. The expenditures come out to the counties. $28 million spent there at Southwest. Just a few things, and then I'm going to leave you some books and brochures. Mayor Vander and I were talking about it earlier, or last week, and I told him I'd like to come and explain this to y'all. Southwest Human Resource Agency, they're over the Head Start program, and that's 8 counties in the Southwest District. They have 497 kids in that program. They give rides. You see the vans where they give people rides that don't have means of transportation, and they're free or small charge based on different criteria. You can get a ride to Jackson and get to the doctor or anything you need to do if you don't have transportation. But last year they gave 101,000 rides. The nutrition program is one thing that I'm working with right now with them. The nutrition program is really big. And I'll tell you some things. This department prepares and delivers nutritious meals for the areas served by Southwest. Programs of benefit from the areas is service our Head Start, Meals on Wheels, at-risk after-school program, and summer food service programs. And I know at one time they were telling me that y'all used to have a lunch every day, like a senior lunch. Do you remember doing that, or has that been a while? But if y'all were interested in that, we'd love to provide meals for that. If you got seniors that would need that type of services here in the community. They offer all that. As far as the meals go, last year they served and prepared 1,500,000 meals at Southwest at their kitchen in Henderson. And they bring them out hot meals, cold meals. One thing that the program that I've kind of started for them is I call it the athletic nutrition program. But we got a lot of kids at school that play basketball, football, and those programs. And a lot of times, like on away games, they don't even have time to go home or get meals or whatever. Some of them stay at school and in the gym and get ready to go to basketball. But we just signed up all the schools in the county, in Hardin County and Haywood, and we're going to the other 8. We're going to put a nutritious pack meal in every hand of the basketball players on game nights and away games. And the nutritionist has planned out what those meals are, and they're what's called shelf ready, shelf stable, so they don't go bad, they don't have to refrigerate or heat it. We hand them to the kids, and they can eat them during the meals. It's free to all the students doesn't cost them a dime. They provide other things in 8 counties like housing, utility assistance, probation services, transportation, senior citizen services, and all of those things. But I will be in the county most of the time and throughout all the other 7 counties, but most of you know how to get in touch with me, Curtis. You can give me a call if you got any questions about any of these programs, or if you know somebody in the community that could benefit from these programs. That's what it's there for. It's there to serve y'all. And we'd like to start a meal program over here, maybe a lunch or something like that, where we could supply meals. And I'll read this with you. This is last year's report. And we'd love to work with you. That's my job, is resource development and marketing, to get out and let you know that what we got and be a resource for Southwest, that y'all can call. You know me locally, you call me and say, hey, we know so-and-so down the road, and they need some help with whatever, meals and transportation. I'd love to hook them up and take care of them for you. But the counties pay into the districts each year, I think based on population, and so you're covered. It's there for you, and we want you to use that. Okay?
So if y'all have a lot of meals to bring to Hornsby, because we can identify quite a few, do y'all just take it to the house, or do you bring it, like, say, here to a central location for these people to pick up? How do you do that?
Yeah, well, we like to do it if y'all provided, like an hour a day for a place for them to eat, and they could eat it here. Or we can deliver it and have somebody in the community deliver them to the homes. But we'll try to get them to the homes any way we can to help these folks that need it out there. It's a great program. They've got a good kitchen over there, very professional, and they dish out a lot of meals daily, a lot of meals.
I had no idea.
Yeah, they did over 1.2 million one year during COVID.
Wow.
In 1 year, it's a lot of meals prepared. So there's 300 people that work for Southwest with the Head Start program, from teachers to bus drivers. And they're all there. They're really a big, good, dedicated group of people that want to help. They really want to help. So they'll do anything they can to help you. Also, you may remember I talked to Melissa at the Development District about your grant. You missed the deadline on that first one, but she doesn't have any promises, but she thinks there'll be another round. So the only thing she could suggest is y'all go ahead and get prepared for the next one in advance. And I don't know what all I get to talk to the mayor much, but I know you were talking about some different reports you had to have on the water system and those things. There are a lot of engineers out there that will do that for you if they get your business. So don't be bashful about asking for some help there too. But I would stay in contact with Melissa. The Development District is very good about helping too. So, but any of the resources in that book with Southwest Resource Agency, I can get you some information and get you some services over here. But use us. We're there. That's what we're there for. Yes.
State funded agency.
It's federal and state. They have, it tells you in here all of the partners that they have, and it's everybody from USDA to.
And you work for them?
Yes, sir. I work for the resource agency.
So that's how
Yes, sir. Yep. They do. There's so many services there. If you need anything to know anybody, give us a call. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Jared, you got anything to say? You were beforehand, but you came in a little.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I do, actually. I'm not really sure where to start, because I've had a number of conversations with a lot of people, but I did not have a meeting of the minds with you this month, and that may be my fault, because I was all about talking this police policy, and then all of a sudden coming to you with a curveball, cyber policy. If all that Grand Junction has is what you gave me, they're not in compliance with the law change either.
That's all Lori gave us when we went to Grand Junction.
Okay, so doing my dive into the changes that were supposed to go into effect in July, it's specific to utilities. And So that means, I'm gonna do, because I'm assuming what you gave me, we don't even have in the ordinance or anything, so that's just bare bones minimum common sense, not leaving your computer open for anybody walking off the street or sharing your passcodes with people. So I mean, I can type that up. I mean, what they have in there is great to that effect. But where they need to add to their ordinance and what we need to do for sure is get a policy in place for what happens, what we're required to do in the event that there is a breach with utilities. And that is gonna require me to link up with the city attorney for Selmer. I called him today and left him a message. I don't even know who the Bolivar city attorney is, but what we need to know is what our responsibilities are. If there's a breach with electric or gas from Bolivar, if there's an issue with water, where we could potentially also be harmed, be it ransomware or whatever. I mean, I think we also, in this day and age, need to make it specific to what type of cyber attack that it is. And that's not necessarily my realm of expertise, but I'm working on it. So, I would assume they probably already have a policy in place, and I'm gonna hopefully have some roughed up draft for you to review by next month. But I think when I talked with the public entity partners today, I talked with one of the directors, and she essentially told me that she saw it as required under the new law change to have a policy in place in the event of a breach. I don't necessarily read it that way, but I think it's common sense that that's what we need to do because we're so reliant on the two big cities that we're sandwiched between that we need to know whether we go paperless or what, if we invoke some other type of security system that's digital, I don't know. But my point is we need to make sure that we're in lockstep with the two of them because if they breach their database, then they're piercing ours as well. Our veil is no longer good either. So that is what I'm going to try my best to have somewhat put together, both the common sense type stuff as well as where the rubber really hits the road for us as far as with the law change with utilities, to try to get us in compliance with the rule change that we were supposed to be in compliance with in July, but we're currently not. Do any of y'all know who the city attorney is for Bolivar? I think Lily said it was somebody out of Jackson. I meant to look it up, I was just doing.
I don't know.
Okay.
What city attorney?
He's the one for Grand Junction. I know that.
So,
Anyway, it's more complicated than just having a cybersecurity policy. So I'm gonna work it up to try to get us in compliance. I've already got a lot of it drafted. But I think where the common sense steps in here, we've got to have the utilities policy in place as well with it.
Well, you know, just recently, this past weekend or whatever, there were hackers that hacked into some water systems across the US.
I would tell these people to get a job, they're probably making a lot more money.
I mean, it says they're like affiliated with the Iranian government. I mean, there was a lot of activity that just went on in the US with the water systems.
It's a very real threat these days, and
It is.
it's not necessarily, like I said, something that I have a lot of experience with, but I think that we can get a policy in place. Because that's all that's really required under the amendment to the Tennessee Code Annotated is that we simply have a policy in place. So at a minimum, I'll get that and I'll try to make it a competent one, all right? So hopefully I'll have a copy for y'all to hand out by next month, and it'll probably be somewhat lengthy, so y'all can take it home and read it, or I could email it. I don't know if everybody emails, but I'll contact you, Mr. Curtis, if I get it worked up before the next meeting, and we try to get it disseminated to all of y'all so you can look at it.
Okay.
I can talk to you about something else off the record. What we discussed at the basketball game or the fall festival.
about that.
Yeah, I can talk to you about that later.
Next thing is a update
City Hall renovations, I think all the lights, the blinds and the door, cleaning up. Is all I know, these lights on that. Waiting on the door, the guy who's got the door, he's waiting on him to come. Yeah, spoke there, it got held up on another job. So,
Do we have a deadline? No. 'Cause I have people contacting me weekly to rent City Hall.
yeah, he told us we should be, supposed to be through by the end of next week. What's his deadline?
But we may not be able to get all this straightened out and moved.
No, but, yeah.
And because of this
When they do,
financial stuff.
when they do get to move this, we're gonna have to have men help. Because Pat's had the hip surgery, I'm having hand surgery in January.
Is
So,
some of that stuff on the back counter, on the shelves?
I don't know.
Maybe,
Some of it may,
but most of it goes back to
most
water.
of it goes back in the office.
Okay.
But we'll have to
Just,
have some
you'll just
help.
have to let us know when that
Because I
comes
know
out.
I can't lift anything, but I might as well leave them now.
Or I know, I'll be all put back down.
Well, they're gonna do the floor, so they'll just have to move that filing cabinet and all that stuff back out if they
I
do the
think all
floor.
they're gonna do is, just clean because you're gonna have to pull everything out of it and do the floor. I don't know where you're gonna be able to pull everything out of it.
I don't know.
All right, purchasing policy, everybody's looked at that purchasing policy.
This is first reading.
Yes,
Yes, it's just the first reading, just the first reading. So, for anything, we can do something before the second reading. So, have a motion, we approve it on the first reading,
Make a motion.
for a second. All those in favor? Opposed? Next thing, the audit.
We received a letter on November the 22nd from the comptroller's office that says that they were unable to file our audit that Bob Dole presented because there were some errors in it. And they sent a letter to him and to us, and he has to redo it and send it back in for approval. And it has been taken off the website. So, we're waiting on him to make his corrections again.
This is a real issue because we can't get our water rate study done without the audit filed and approved. And that water rate study has got to be completed by December 31st. So Bob Dahl's got to get that in like last week. Because that's gonna put us in a very bad violation of the order.
And it'll take time.
So, what is your suggestion? I mean, we are under an order. It has to be done by December 31st. And that audit has to be on file with the comptroller's office before they can do this study.
He's our CPA for the summer.
Was it CPA?
So
He
we,
still is until he
Yeah,
does his
Billy
report.
Moore, that's his
Yeah.
report, he is, he's-
we need to usually give them a call, okay, and tell them. Bob Dahl. What a dog.
But I did reach out to him to make sure that he received it, and he said, yes, he received it, he was working on it. But that was last week, and I have not got an update from him.
We know about deadline for the, like you said,
He knew about the deadline when he was late getting the audit to begin with, because he put us in a bind of this when I was harassing him all summer long.
Yeah.
He just doesn't care.
former CPA. So she said he does this with everybody, it's not just because he's mad that we're.
No, he just, it's
It's
just
just how it is, yeah. And yeah, it was filed on September the 20th, and then we received notification on November the 22nd that it was not acceptable and that took it down.
Okay,
You
you
know,
said
a
it's
lot,
a
a lot of bad stuff,
I mean, it's just a couple things. I mean, it's not, I mean, if he would get on there and do it, he probably have done it in a day.
It's more than type of gravel.
Yes.
Okay, I'll do my best.
But I mean, it messes up because see, it's time for us to be working on the next audit with our new CPA. And we've got to have this audit completed before the new CPA can start working on this year's audit.
Okay, I should be able to call him tomorrow afternoon.
I mean, he
Just,
make sure you have plenty of time, but you can't get off the phone with him.
Okay.
I'm just saying. And he's just gonna go out in about 50 directions.
all kinds of excuses.
Yeah. It's always somebody else's fault.
You should have been a lawyer in another life.
He should.
And he's retired now too, by the way, so. He's retired.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, we have a problem.
Okay, it sounds like you got more than one.
Yeah, we do.
Okay. Annual information report.
On the water department, oh, God, this is a nightmare. I saw the order, at least Bolivar's name was with Hornsby's name on this, but, they've got theirs completed, we just haven't. Actually, it's so frustrating. The water software is so flawed that none of our consumptions are correct. And like I've said before, I admire anybody who came in on a moment's notice and had to try to figure this out and had no training. The problem, like I said, has been the company was sold. There are, according to the person who sold the system to Hornsby, there is just no support really left for that system. Of course, he's bugging the daylights out of me trying to sell us a new system, which isn't happening. We've got to have real numbers on what we have purchased as far as water, what we have sold, what we have lost, and I have no idea how we're gonna get it. Because as stuff has been entered incorrectly over the last, 3 years? By 4 different people. They've been told you don't have to change consumption reports, the software does it itself, if you adjust something, and then the next person says, oh yeah, your numbers are gonna be wrong if you don't go in and manually change it. The numbers are so off in that system, I don't even know where to begin to get correct answers. Whatever we do is not gonna be right. But we did do one of those reports. I talked to Bobby Hensley, and he said Mary Ann Murphy had done one a couple of years ago. The city of Hornsby did not do one last year. You have to have an ID code number to get into the system, so I had to call Nate Fontenot to get that, and I located the one that Mary Ann did. It's very flawed and incorrect, so it actually needs to be corrected. Joe and I are gonna work on it. We're gonna have Pam trying to somehow pull some magic numbers out of the computer. I'm just saying they're not gonna be right. So we're probably gonna get another dirty order from the state, but I don't know what to do. We've got to do something about getting rid of that system and getting something and starting over because it is so messed up. And, you know, when there's no people left working for the company that know anything about it, you're just in a bind. So at some point, the board's gonna have to decide. That's got to go out the door and something's gotta come in that's gonna work.
This code is too complicated, too many different inputs in it.
It is, it's a pharmaceutical software. It's not even a water utility software to begin with. So it was never probably a good purchase for the city to begin with. Brian Taylor is the name of the guy that works for Springbrook, and he's the person who worked for QS1 and sold the system to Hornsby. He said it is not user-friendly. You cannot get any kind of manual. You cannot go online and get support, because when you try to get support for it, it takes you out to their new company, Springbrook, which does not match up with QS1. Most of the employees who work for QS1 are gone, so there's nobody there that has any knowledge of the system. That's why if you call, and I'm sure this has happened from the day that, and I'm not faulting anybody, but the day Megan took over and she was calling QS1 for help, then Mary Ann called and asked for help, Amy called, Pam called, and every time you call, when you get somebody, they tell you a different way to do the same thing. So that's why it is so screwed up, it can never be straightened out. You cannot go back and find 3 years worth of bad material or information that's been put in there and straighten all of it out. You just can't do it.
And there are lots of stuff missing.
Yeah, there's months that different people who have worked did not even do reports of any kind. So that information is not in the system at all.
Because
And that's the information we've got to have for this report.
And who does this report go to?
The state's requiring it.
states,
Finance department?
It goes to the, comptroller's office. I mean, I pulled the one that Mary Ann did off of the system.
Well, what you're telling us, did they know that? Did they know what you're telling us now?
That the system is that messed up. I've told Nate Fontenot, yeah, I mean, they know.
What did he say?
He says we just got to do the best we can to try and figure it out, but he agrees, the system needs to go. I mean, he's the one that told me the system was flawed. He called me one day when I was at Walmart at Selma, and he said, what on earth are y'all paying money to a pharmaceutical company for?
But since he agrees, don't we need to be looking for something a lot simpler? You
Definitely.
got water being bought, and water being sold, you got meters being read, people being billed, people paying with it.
that's why we went to Grand Junction and looked at their computer system. For
Well,
what
does it look better, simpler?
it sounded much, it sounds much better, it has traceability. It has, in this system, you can go back and see who entered what data
Information and when they did it.
and when they did it, their system does.
Well, you got any cost on a system like that yet?
She gave us
I think
something.
Pam's got it.
Pam, do you have the information on the system at Grand Junction?
On what?
The Grand Junction water system? And then, I mean, it's local gov, but it is done in a format that the comptroller's office wants stuff done, which is a bonus because this is not.
There it is.
Yeah, this is absolutely not. I mean, Bob Dahl has spoken forever about this
And
system.
also, there is the same system that auditors can use. It
So-
connects with the auditors, the way they work, and the comptroller's office both.
I mean, it's just, nobody had any training from the time Megan came in, and she went in there and she did the best she could.
Moving forward,
So, I mean, we just got to, because this is so messed up. There is no way on earth to go in and find all the things that's been entered incorrectly for 3 years. There's just not.
and they require all that, this report here?
Yes, it requires a lot.
And some of these other studies that we've got, feasibility and the water rate study require some of the same information.
That we cannot pull out of the computer.
We might all this information needs to be furnished to them and just, them tell you what to do. So we found a new system, a lot simpler, a lot better, do the job. We wanna move forward, but tell us what to do.
What did you need to know?
The information on the Grand Junction's, water utility
What she said,
billing
that
system.
system cost.
It is,
Pardon me, please.
um,
Oh, you know, I'm on my reading glasses, I can't see.
Right there. You don't need to later though, so,
Down here.
yeah, it's right here. It's June, billion, yes,
Utility,
Yes.
6,000. Cost one time was 6,812.
yeah.
And the annual support is 3,668.
And so we're paying more than that now. We have spent out a lot of money.
Plus with all the extra cost of the
And then,
cards and their cards were just regular, what are they, the postcard, but. Card stock.
yeah, card stuff. The supplies are a whole lot cheaper. They don't charge us like QS1, the more you call, the more they charge you. They keep a tally of all your little phone calls, so they can charge you more.
Are you under contract with them, or anything?
I have no idea. I'll just be honest, I don't know. I found a contract for 16, 13, and 16. They were like 3-year contracts. I haven't found anything after 16, I just know we're paying them every year, several
In
thousand.
that regard, out of contract, if any?
I need to see one. I mean, I don't know if I can call them if you want me to. I mean, I'd assume they would tell me if there is some sort of contract that's been negotiated. But I mean, with
I don't
that
know.
long of a period of not even finding anything, I doubt it.
Yeah, I would definitely find out.
I called for weeks trying to find out, because I knew we had made a payment for this year. And I laid awake thinking, oh my God, we're gonna walk in one day and they're gonna have us locked out of the system because we haven't made our payment. And, so when I called, finally got somebody, and he said, oh, well, we sent that bill, we sent it to Mary Ann Murphy, and I said, she don't live in the city anymore, so I need that.
Hey, so who do I need to contact? Is it the pharmaceutical company? I'm kind of lost, to be honest with you.
I am too, because we get billed sometimes QS1, sometimes it's public, sometimes it's Red Cell. They just send us bills under all kinds of names.
They
Well,
have,
that's, what they were coming from.
they pop up the umbrellas, 3 different names.
It comes in all kinds of
That's because
names.
they keep
Some of
getting,
it is like a scanner
being
thing,
bought out.
it's still in Lee's name. The software, they had in Mary Ann Murphy's name. Everything is somebody else's name. It's the biggest.
because each time they bought out, it's been a different contact person.
Yeah, it's a different person.
Okay, so can you say those names again? QS1, Red Cell, S-E,
SAIL.
Just,
S-A-I-L?
I think,
Yeah, which is pharmaceutical.
And what's the third one?
An Integral RX, which is pharmaceutical.
Integral RX.
And, yeah, Publix, it is.
Publix with a Q at the end, so it's more like the QS1 was.
It's the biggest mess you've ever seen in your life. If it was a physical object, I would take it to the door, and with my bad leg, I'd take him replacement surgery on, I'd kick it across the street, I'll just tell you.
I've got a
Okay,
question.
so Publix, P-U-B-L-I-Q-S?
When,
Just P,
When was
just
the last
Q
time?
no S on the end, I don't think.
when was the last time our
I can,
2 computers have been physically serviced and cleaned?
I don't know.
Probably never,
Never.
probably never.
That's kind of fun.
Well,
That has nothing to do with the software for the water department.
well,
Melissa, you
I would say that it has to do with
I can
the
get it.
computer working well.
Okay.
It's not gonna work well if it's clogged up with dust.
Is it working well?
Processors in there.
Computer stuff, does it work well?
There.
That doesn't.
That has nothing to do with that.
Gotta stay cool when it won't work.
That's what.
That has nothing to do with it, that's the least of our problems.
Well, also, whoever the last person that did clean them, we need to know whether we can trust them or not.
Well, you know, this goes back to something Ben was talking about on security and stuff, is I don't know who might, because there's some names, so when you do a login to the water system, they're done at different levels. So some of these people have have done them a login into our water system, that we cannot delete them out.
Well, that's enough
So,
of a hacked system.
so like there's some that were in logins that Pam was able to take out, but if they done their login at a high level,
Right.
we can't touch it, so we can't take them out of our system. They're still in our system. So,
And they don't need to be.
and I mean, and which is a security problem, in my opinion.
I agree. So, if you have a security breach on your system, your data's in danger.
And it has a lot of banking information in it because of the bank drafts and stuff. I mean, it's a real concern.
So like we need to get
And plus whoever created it, because I don't know who put in the very initial login at the top, not the HWD, but, you know, the first one. So whoever that one is, I don't know who it would be.
We can't touch it.
Yeah, because,
We can't block anybody from having access to it. Or a lot of people we can't block from having access to it. So we don't have real control over the system.
What's next?
On the end of
that's not a good thing.
the feasibility study.
That's another headache.
We need
Did,
a specialist to come in and straighten that out.
Straighten what out?
Did you come up with any
Software
anybody that we could get to do that?
Well, we're having a real problem
We
with
got
that.
no problem with it, because one firm I talked to said to do a feasibility study, prior to hiring someone, we need to send out letters of request for qualifications of the firms. That's prior to voting on any firm to do the feasibility study. Like we did
Yeah, for the grant.
for the grant, that you have to have the letters of qualifications back from your firms.
We will have to meet again before,
For the 31st,
31st.
because that's got to be in the contract by the end of December.
okay.
But I talked to Nate Fontenot today. And I just told him I had been out, that I had hip replacement surgery. Their order came in while I was out. He told me if I would send him an email, just explaining to him why we haven't moved forward by the end of December on this, that they don't meet again until March of 2024, that, he said, obviously, when the next meeting is, they will bring up that we were late hiring someone to do the feasibility study. He said, we will not take any action against you, that he understood that we're, and especially now with this audit situation, we're even in worse shape. But, he just said, you know, sometimes they'll put in the order that it can be extended. He said if it just didn't get put in the order, just for me to email him, just tell him that we're working on it. He said we have been very good about complying, which has not been done in the past, and they could not fault us for not being able to get this done, even though they would have to mention it. So I think that we really need to look hard, because like one of the estimates that Joe got was $49,500 for feasibility
And I
study.
think what his study was, it was more stuff than what we were needing. He's looking at the water lines, the meters and stuff. His
Water losses.
what was more looking for where our water's going and the feasibility.
The feasibility study is covering what exactly?
It is for us to do a study to see, if it would be beneficial for some other water system to take over our water system. It doesn't mean that we have to that's gonna happen. It's just they're ordering us to do a study to see if we would be better off.
Better off with somebody new or keep going like we are. Or
Whatever, yeah, to see if we are at a position that at some point in the very near future, we can pull ourselves out of the distress that we're in.
Okay, and the state's ordering it,
Yes.
Yes,
and the same group that's doing all this other.
Well, yeah.
Change the name to something else.
yeah, Tennessee Board of Utility Regulations now. I did, after Joe they sent me I was in Memphis for a doctor's appointment today, after she sent me that $49,000 estimate, and my heart slowed back down. I did call an engineering firm in Corinth, and I'm gonna try to get some stuff together for Bobby Scott. As a matter of fact, Scott Engineering designed the water system when it was put in back in 1972. And Bobby just did a feasibility study for a town or a utility in Mississippi. He realizes there'll be a little bit of difference in Tennessee, but he is licensed in Tennessee.
What's he charging?
I don't know, I've got to get some stuff together, and then I'll go to Corinth. I know Bobby, know him well, we've been friends for 50 years. So I'll go meet with Bobby and take a study from somewhere. I mean, Jimmy, do you know anyone that's ever had one?
Not recent, I don't.
I mean, I just like to see, you know,
I could probably get you one from the development district.
$10,000 feasibility study. Every time we turn around, they're slamming us with thousands of dollars in expense.
And that's something again, then, water study.
Yeah,
And there was another company, and this J.R. Warford, and they're the ones who recommended the Rye Engineering. She said they're competitors of TLM. So, they all were really high priced.
If I can stay away from DO,
Yeah.
I'd be glad to.
yeah, me too.
What we were thinking. We had to come up with that one, so we need to contact them. Scott.
Oh, Bobby, yeah, he's Friday, you go into Corinth, Scotty worked for him when he got out of college, I know Bobby well.
We'll work on that.
But at the next meeting, is that what we're doing?
So you wanted to
Try
put
to
it
get
on?
to the next meeting.
I think so, I think we really need to do a lot of research into these engineering companies and try to
2 or 3
days.
They just been
Different. So I think the next meeting is,
The second. It is
of
the second.
January, so.
And I will put in that letter as we discussed. So that he'll know that we could get by with it, but,
How many customers, water customers do you have?
what did we pass it, 446? I think 446.
I don't know why I'm
Varies.
saying
It
52, but
varies.
I mean, that's what it is, yeah.
That's close enough. 470.
I mean, you know, I've looked online and I just haven't seen a copy of the feasibility study that's been done.
And I looked for one when I was trying to call them, and I couldn't find anything that actually really explained what I was needing.
Yeah.
It's not very common. Water study upgrade.
Well, most of the stuff is to Steve White,
Yeah.
but now that we don't have an audit, and part of the stipulation was that we had to have our audit approved by the comptroller's office, so that's gonna put us back on hold on our water rate study.
I'll get with him again tomorrow, see how much longer it's gonna be.
And then I got to get, I misunderstood him on one thing, he wanted from me to send him, he wanted from last year, the last fiscal year, and then this year, the number of gallons of water we had consumed, and I thought he said he wanted the revenue for the number of gallons. So I've got to go back and get that, but it's going to be minus 3 months on the 23 one, because there's no record in that.
No report was done.
I did that this week.
think it's what, February, March, April, January, February, March, something like that. The first three, right at the first year.
February, March, and September. September of 22, and February, March of 23.
Exactly.
They're still working on the red line extension, they're still trying to get TDEC approval.
Have they sent something to them?
They're working with them now on that. So, that's the last I heard.
Who sent something in?
She's talking to them now about getting something done.
Is that the man's dog?
Said they should know something by the end of this month. Yeah. So, that's,
And
I know on that.
until they get everything in play, we really can't approve that extension. I have a friend retired from TDEC, and I asked him, any violation, which I know TDEC doesn't play, they don't, and I know Jimmy knows this, they don't give cheap fines by no means. I was told that any line that's put in without TDEC approval, and it's gonna get caught if it is, because this feasibility study will start at the beginning of the Hornsby water system with how much line we have and how many water customers we have, and it will go through every extension, every time water lines been replaced, every grant, everything that's ever been done. So if we have so much as a foot of line that we don't have TDEC approval on, I was told for every day that that line is in the ground, we can be charged $10,000 fine per day.
Not only,
And, I mean, it's something to really worry about. I mean, it will bankrupt this town. So, I mean, you don't mess with TDEC. I'd rather mess with the comptroller than TDEC, I'll just be honest with you.
Street department?
Only thing I got, what we said about getting that other truck put in. He said he's trying to get in the end of the year.
Which one is that one?
That's one over here on Crawford Street.
Okay.
Crawford Street.
Yeah, so you probably get in the next week or so.
Oh, we got the Christmas light put up.
I saw that.
What you
Yeah,
say?
sorry. But I saw that.
You know anything from the police department?
No, they don't have anything.
Of anything in the fire department, floor's open for public discussion.
I got a couple other things. I just put together that I'm not gonna be here the next meeting. I'm gonna be visiting my family for Christmas. So if or when I get the roughed up, and I'm gonna need, my second question is, where are the ordinances for Hornsby, for
I got it,
fusion?
I'll show you.
Okay, because I noticed, I don't think they're online.
No, they're
So
not.
I need to know where, like, the numbers and everything for what I'm gonna draft up, but I also had some other things I wanted to research, if they exist or not, so please do show me.
I will. Be glad to.
They're not on impact either.
But if or when I get that roughed up, y'all can call, take a look at it, I've got her email, so I'll just send it to her.
I mean, I know like our charter and stuff's on advertised, but I think that's probably about it.
That's all that's out
Yeah.
there, the charter.
But when you did the charter, there should be something put there in the order for things that have changed. Has something changed or added or?
I think the last time our charter was changed is when we changed the number of board members. And that was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
18.
Get that and approval, just one meeting short, instead of three times, two times.
For the readings, yes, the readings on the ordinances, yeah. Policies or whatever, yeah. second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.